What is up, guys? Rick Kackis here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we've got some brand spanking new Destiny 2 news, courtesy of the Bungie weekly update that has just gone live, unveiling official information. And this week's is a big one, so let's get started. But just before we do, if you want to make the most of real gamer hours with the only gaming supplement that's been clinically proved, check out Advanced GG Focus. Fantastic product. I use it all the time. Link in description. So let's talk about the news. Now, first things first, our boy, our big daddy, Luke Smith, director at Bungie, came forth and gave a statement on how Bungie is going to be updating and frankly completely overhauling Eververse with Year 4. But don't worry, you hear Eververse and probably not good thoughts are going through your head, but this is actually very, very good news. Mainly, they're talking about rewards and essentially shifting some of the rewards that are currently kind of in Eververse to actually being available to acquire through in-game pursuits going into Year 4. So, what do they say specifically? Well, in the section Vanity and Accessories, so that's ships, ghosts, and sparrow changes, here's what they're doing. They're going to be adding transmogrification into Destiny 2. This will allow players to turn their armor into universal ornaments. We plan to allow players to do this with in-game effort or silver. This feature is early in development and is expected sometime during Year 4. So that is actually a huge change because it means that you don't just have to get the ornaments that are specifically from, the Season's Pass or Eververse. That's pretty much the only places you can get them. Instead, you can take a piece of armor and you can transmogrify it and then turn it into an ornament. So you really like your, flawless helmet from Trials of Osiris? Well, I guess flawless doesn't matter, but your helmet from Trials of Osiris? Well, now you can transmogrify it and put it into any different, look you want. And I think that's a fantastic change, and we really need that because they're just introducing new armor sets, but they're functionally identical to what we currently have. So this is actually a big change, and it will definitely make making your Guardian Suite a lot easier. Moving on from there, each season, we will deliver an aspirational pursuit for armor. We haven't done this consistently in Destiny 2. So this armor will come from activities not the Season's Pass or Eververse. As an example, they removed the Eververse armor from Season 11, so next season, and itemized it into an aspirational activity because that's the right thing to do for the game. Again, fantastic news. So for example, right now the streetwear Eververse sets, well, whatever next season's would have been, that's been removed from Eververse, and now again you have to actually play the game, you have to actually work for it in order to acquire it. Fantastic change. Moving on from there, we are improving the rewards for aspirational activities, and that includes raids, trials, and dungeons. So going forward, aspirational activities will reward players with power, items, and vanity. When we build an aspirational activity, it will have at least one accessory to pursue. And accessory is going to be something like a ship, sparrow, etc. So finally moving those super cool, exotic, ghost shells out of Eververse and putting them in activities. We've been asking for this for years. Moving on, the team is working on adept weapons for Trials of Osiris. Now, I've been on about this. I think this is absolutely fantastic news. There needs to be an actual incentive to go flawless rather than just mindlessly token farm in 1 to 3 wins. And shifting the focus onto going flawless means that your sweaty hard matches are going to occur at 5, and 7 wins and stuff like that, not the very first game when you matchmake. And so that's honestly better for everybody. Moving on from there, Trials will get new armor, aka not reprisal, accessories, and weapons in Season 13, and Trials will get new armor every single year. That's again fantastic news. Now, Season 13 is likely going to be, if they're following the same kind of seasonal model and the same dates, which they always do, Season 13 will be the winter season of 2020. So the same time Season of Dawn came out, the same time Season of the Forge came out, that's going to be Season 13. At least, again, if everything stays the same. Moving on, Destiny's next raid will have a brand new armor, weapons, and exotic accessories to pursue. No spoilers. Again, this is really fantastic news, and I'm hoping this means that, hey, the raids always come with an exotic these days, which is fantastic. Well, hopefully you can actually get some ornaments for continuing to grind. You know, the one example we have of that in-game was the ornament that you could get for the Legend of Acreus exotic shotgun that came with the Leviathan raid, and you got the ornament for doing the prestige mode. Hopefully more stuff like that, so you actually are rewarded for continuing to grind out raids. And this again will help everyone if the hardcore players are continuing to grind raids to get these exotic accessories. That means more Sherpas around and more people willing to throw together a team and just get it done, you know, for the people who haven't done raids yet. So again, good news all around. Moving on from there, he says, beginning in Season 12, we will no longer be selling ships, ghost shells, sparrows, or armor ornaments in Eververse that are visually based on the themes from aspirational activities. We are not planning on changing existing items, as that is the time we could be spending on itemizing the future. So again, fantastic news, and the real world example of this is the current being sold at Eververse exotic ornaments that are Trials of Osiris themed. You know, for the Ace of Spades, for example. That should be in the Flawless chest, for example, for Trials. Something to go for, something to grind for. The fact that it's in Eververse is kind of ridiculous, and that goes exactly into what Luke Smith is saying, is that the themed ornaments, and that's again very clearly themed after Trials. This whole season is the season of introducing Trials. Those type of things will no longer be locked behind Eververse. Huge change and great change. Moving on from there, he talks core playlist reward changes. So this is for Strikes, Gambit, and the Crucible. We are adding a new set of armor for the core playlist, Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible. This armor will share a new geometry with decals and shaders specific to the activity. We will create new sets like this every year. So year 4, year 5, year 6, etc. Which, by the way, Luke Smith just referred to Destiny 2 up to year 6, and it's year 4. So everyone who thought Destiny 3 was coming, this would actually go against that. So I think that little line, that actually shows a lot about what Bungie is thinking. They're clearly looking very far ahead for supporting Destiny 2. But moving on, this set will arrive alongside the next expansion, and I think that's going to be the Season 12 fall expansion. Speaking of, he continues, starting in Season 12, we're adding a new pursuit weapon each season. This weapon can be earned by playing your preferred core playlist. This weapon will have activity-specific legendary skins that can be unlocked in each playlist. And he actually says we will no longer be selling new legendary weapon ornaments in Eververse. Wow, so all those ornaments already for the spare rations, for all that stuff, for the menagerie set, those are going to be instead earned in-game rather than Eververse, and that's another huge shift. Now, something important to point out is that they talk about a new pursuit weapon. So it looks like ritual weapons as a whole, unfortunately, you know, I don't think we're going to be getting 3 every single season. Pursuit weapon, and instead of a ritual weapon that he's referring to, so it could be a little bit different. This could be a slight return to perhaps the pinnacle weapons of the past, but we'll have to wait and see. But in any event, there's going to be one every single season. And again, I think the fact that you can actually go and unlock its ornaments by using it and getting these certain achievements in certain playlists and so on, I think that's huge for just playability and actual content you're trying to grind for. Moving on from there, dust and engrams. We are making it easier for you to earn bright dust. We will be moving away from character-specific ways to earn bright dust and more towards account-specific pathways. Thank goodness. This change is geared towards giving one character players significantly more bright dust than they earn today. Fantastic. More, we're updating the bright engram to be more relevant than it is today. The earned bright engram in the Seasons Pass will be updated to include various Year 3 Eververse items previously sold for silver and bright dust. And going forward, that bright engram will update each season to include Eververse items from 3+ seasons prior. On the behalf of us at Bungie, we hope you and yours are safe and well. We know you could be doing anything with your free time, and so many of you are spending it in our worlds. Thanks and stay safe. So, Wow, huge news, huge news. And this goes right into what's going on right now, this second into Destiny 2. Season of the Worthy was definitely a bit underwhelming, and it feels like there just isn't enough to do. I, for one, would be playing the game a lot more if I had ornaments to grind for and stuff like that. The fact that there's none of that and I simply can pay for it and get it immediately has really eroded a lot of people's desire to play. So adding that stuff back into the game, I think that's a huge positive, and I'm very glad to hear that the Eververse presence is certainly lessening starting next season. I mean, the fact that that Eververse armor set has been removed from the store and now put into the game, that's already a big change, and we're going to get more and more of that type of stuff moving forward into year 4. Okay, moving on from there, the last big thing we're going to cover is the return of Iron Banner. This is going to be the last Iron Banner of this season, and therefore this is the last chance to earn that Point of the Stag ritual bow. That's the only ritual weapon of this season. If you haven't earned it, it has some pretty unique properties. I did a video on it a while back. Essentially, Vorpal weapon works a lot more on that weapon than a lot of other different guns in the game. You know, on the Breachlight, it gives a 30% around damage bonus against supers. For whatever reason, on the Point of the Stag, it's a 60% damage bonus. So that means you can 2-tap pretty much any super in the game with this bow, and that for bow users has been a pretty powerful addition to their arsenal. Some people don't like it, some people do. Regardless, probably worth getting your hands on this pretty unique weapon. So, Iron Banner, along with Bonus Valor, are going to be launching at 10 AM reset on May 12th and running until May 19th. Alright guys, and there you have it. There is a teeny bit more information, for example, the final week of the Guardian's Heart Charity Initiative, and it lists all the different streams and when they're happening, but of course, check the description down below. The official article will be linked if you want to know more of that stuff, as well as like known issues and stuff like that. I tend to not cover absolutely everything in these updates, or else it would take like 30 minutes. And so guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, found this informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at @RickKackis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.